What's up, everyone? Let's review this Pitch Logic Baseball by F5 Sports. This is a beautiful piece of technology and a very valuable tool for anybody that's serious about baseball and pitching or just throwing in general. And the reason why I was introduced to Pitch Logic is because about a month ago, I got to play with Rapsodo, which is it's a completely separate and different device. Rapsodo runs at about $5,000. But the information that it gives you is insane. There's so many metrics and there's so much data that you can take away from Rapsodo. So I was intrigued by it, but I can't afford $5,000 worth of baseball equipment. So Pitch Logic, thank God I was introduced to it. $250. It gives you all the same metrics and data as Rapsodo and all the technologies in the baseball. So let's just start with when you get your Pitch Logic baseball, what do you do? And then what's the information that you're given? So let's jump to this screen first. When you get your Pitch Logic Baseball, you need to download the app on Android or iPhone, Pitch Logic app by F5 Sports. Then you'll create a profile. Very simple, very easy, very straightforward. Once you're done with that, connect via Bluetooth, bang, you're set to go. When you throw your very first pitch, all these numbers are going to pop up on the app. And let's start at the top, and I'll do my best to explain. So up here, let's take a look at this clock face. This clock face right here, it shows your arm slot and it shows the spin axis of the ball. So this arrow right here, this orange-yellow arrow, that's your arm slot, which for me is 100% correct because I'm a low 3/4 arm slot guy. And then the blue arrow is the spin direction of the ball. So even though my arm slot's at about 2 o'clock, my fingers, the angle of my fingers at ball release must be around 1 o'clock because that's the spin axis of the ball. So it's very it's interesting to see how that works and the exact angles in which you release the baseball. Now let's go over here. Lift force. This was the last one that I was able to somewhat understand. So this is basically when you throw a ball, the ball's ability to fight gravity, because everybody, when you throw a baseball, gravity is going to take its toll on it. That's just basic physics. So lift force and the way your ball is spinning through the air, this is going to determine and give you an idea of how much your ball is fighting gravity. And guys that have a very high lift force, it can actually give even though your ball is not rising, it can look to the batter like your ball is rising. So, and why this is important, if you have a high lift force, you can pitch up in the zone and you're going to be effective. If you do not have a high lift force, then I would suggest keeping your ball down in the zone. So that's what these numbers over there mean. And then let's jump to the next one down. Obviously, velocity. Everybody wants to know velocity. That's probably the most popular metric out there. It's been around for a long, long time. Right below that, backwards extension. So Pitch Logic works as soon as you come to a set stop and then you start your delivery, that's when it starts measuring data. So backwards extension is how far backwards away from your target your ball moves before it begins to move forwards. Or at least that's how I take it. Forward extension. This one's a lot more important than I thought at first. So how far are you from your starting point when the ball begins to move? How far are you, how much closer are you towards the plate when the ball is released? Taller guys are going to have more forward extension. The more forward extension you can create, the closer to your target you're going to release the ball. Right below that, total spin. I mean, and total spin, this is basically, when I was talking about Rapsodo, this is basically what it's all about. The spin of the ball. There's so much data out there taken from big league guys saying, okay, if this is your spin rate, then this is what the opponent batting average is. I mean, these numbers, this is what baseball is getting to. So I suggest getting on this stuff right now, because the more you can learn now, the much further you're going to be ahead of the rest of the game. So total spin, that's very important, because most of these other metrics can go back to total spin. It has an effect on pretty much every other metric you see on the screen. Below that, spin efficiency. The other term for this is rifle spin. For me, spin efficiency is easier to understand. However, some guys might understand rifle spin better, and I'll explain that more in just a second. Backspin. how much of your ball is actual, how much of your total spin is actually from backspin. Now, guys that are, I'll give you another visual here. Guys that are more straight over the top up here at this clock face, if that's your release, straight over the top, then you're going to have much more backspin. Guys that are more sidearm, and that's your release, you're going to have much more side spin. So that's essentially what this is saying. Now let me give you a visual to help you understand rifle spin a little bit more and spin efficiency. So picture a lefty here releasing the ball. This is backspin. Okay, once again, that's pretty much straight backspin right there. Now, let's look at side spin. You release the ball from a sidearm slot, you're going to have some side spin. Backspin, side spin, those are both okay. They're going to contribute to a good fastball. Now, rifle spin, if you release the ball and it spins like a bullet, like that, or in the other direction, that's rifle spin. Rifle spin is not productive for a fastball. Now, if you're throwing a cutter or a slider, then naturally you want to create rifle spin. But for a fastball, it's going to make the spin inefficient, and therefore that's why you have that spin efficiency number. And this number right here is spin efficiency. So if I tap that, it converts it to rifle spin, which is the same exact thing. It's just worded differently. But there you can see exactly what I was showing you in that visual just a second ago. Rifle spin takes away from a fastball. So the less rifle spin you have, the more spin efficiency you're going to have. Another really cool thing about this app and about PitchLogic is you can have multiple profiles for no extra cost. If I click this button up here, I can manage, I can add as many profiles as I want. So there's myself and then some of the kids that I train. And if we're all working together and they want to take turns, it's as simple as just pushing somebody else's name, and then now they can throw, and all the data goes underneath their name on their profile. So I know there's other baseballs out there such as Diamond Kinetics that are cheaper, that are $100, but Diamond Kinetics does not give you spin efficiency, which for me is huge. And Diamond Kinetics also charges a fee for every profile that you add to it. So hands down, PitchLogic's the way to go when it comes to those things. And let's take a look at how I was able to utilize this in my practice. So yesterday when I was using PitchLogic, I was messing around with different four-seam grips, seeing what I could do to increase my total spin. Let's go to this video. I know you can't hear me talking in the video, but basically I'm changing the grip so that my thumb, the knuckle of my thumb, is below that seam on the bottom. And when I changed my grip to try it like this, my total spin actually went up. Just jump to the next video. So here you can see new grip. Before this, I was sitting around 2,000 rotations per minute, but I was easily able to get that up to 2,100. I think I even had one or two at 2,200 RPMs just by switching my grip. And you can see once again how quickly the data shows up on the screen of your smartphone or whatever device you use after you make a throw. Very, very, very cool. A couple of other real quick features I wanted to show you. Up here at the top right, if you click this, you can enter a memo. You can talk about, like, let's say that I was really happy with how this pitch turned out and I tried a different grip. You can enter that right here in the memo. It'll save it. Whenever you send out your report, you'll get all this information in your report. So it's pretty awesome that you can do that for every single pitch. Same thing with this button. Then down here at the bottom, whenever I'm ready to finish up my session, I can click menu. I can click get report, and then let me show you how that turns out whenever you click send report. So once you click send report or get report, open up your email, and you get this beautiful spreadsheet. And it's organized by name. So there's my name and the kid that I trained with. You get every single metric that you saw on that screen in a nice, beautiful spreadsheet. Let me turn this sideways so it's a little bit easier to see. I'll highlight too. So if I wanted to look at my last 6 pitches and compare and contrast, you can see, okay, when my throws were 90 plus miles per hour, this was my total spin, this was my spin direction, this was my arm slot. And over the course of multiple throws, you're going to see some correlations, which is amazing for figuring things out and finding what's best for you. So PitchLogic, check it out. It's a wonderful product.